had a lot of decent rotations, but what we've most seen though, John, which has caught our eyes, is this little fight that goes on in Picardo between Konina Power as well as Bigetron. So I want to see if this happens again, because at the moment it's not really working out for either of these teams. Bigetron spends a little bit too much time on it. They generally do win, but then it kind of forces them into an awkward situation towards that later game where, you know, they're trying to rotate, but they've already spent so much time outside of that actual zone itself. And, you know, D-Man talks about this a lot on the desk. He says that, you know, Bigetron, they have these slow rotations, which sometimes affords them time to figure out where they want to enter. I mean, looking back to yesterday, I think it was first game, where they took a lot of time on their angle and was able to get a nice spot on the south side of the circle. But in other cases, like here on Miramar, it's almost to the detriment.
And there is a little bit of a rivalry between Konina Power and Bigetron. I mean, we even saw last time around, Konina Power, they took down the player on the outside trying to put pressure from Execute. There was Killswitch, I believe. They took out Killswitch on the outside of the fight with Bigetron when he was engaging them. They sort of said, you know what, if anyone's going to take Bigetron down, it's going to be us.
It's going to be us.
You get out of the way of this fight, Sonny Jim.
Chill out there. Like, Killswitch was like...
But they seem to always crash into each other on these
Yeah.
rotations. It seems like they do keep those drop spots pretty close. But what is this? A divergence from the norm. Konina Power, they are the ones who did end up changing their drop spot. They've headed out further east.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to you backstage, was like, if you're going to keep poking the bear, like, at least make sure that you can win the fight with the bear. You need to be a bigger bear, basically. But in this situation, Konina Power, they are just a couple of humans in the tent, and Bigetron has swung by for the marshmallows and such like. And at this time, Konina Power has put up 10 elsewhere towards Impala, which is actually free. They've got Robdini up towards Minas Generalis, which is fine, and they can make their way down just finding some vehicles, which allows them for good rotation after this. But honestly, this Miramar is quite intriguing, because a lot of the other ones we've seen has gone very much different to where the playing path has passed over the map on the top side. This one is much more kind. Most teams are already in, and any teams that isn't in the circle right now can quite easily make their way down with all the roads that are surrounding this area. Bluebees, though, coming off the back of a win on Vikendi. What I really want to see is that it continues, but here's Team Secret versus Loops.
Well, it's Rex trying to duck behind the car, but it's just not landing any bullets. Can someone please hit a shot here? Loops spin out wide. The Tommy gun rattles off a lot of damage, and it is Rex to fall. Darin, there's a reason he's one of the top frags of the tournament. He's doing phenomenal stuff.
What a cheeky little smile as well. I mean, the 686 was pummeling that vehicle. You know, you saw Team Secret Rex going down. It's like, well, if I'm going to go down, you shan't have wheels, sir.
Absolutely. Pops those tyres. Bigetron, this means that they do get Picardo to themselves. We talked about how Konina Power did challenge them before. They actually dropped out further to the east near Minas Generalis and have moved down south now to the eastern side of Los Leones to challenge against Aero, who were solo dropping in Los Leones before. You have to remember that. That's probably a better place to double drop. If you're going to drop with someone else in a settlement, go to Los Leones instead of Picardo. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit more options available to you, especially given that how the circle has fallen.
Yeah, I love that Bigetron immediately spread out in Picardo, like, boys, we've got him. Now we're going to take the entirety of Picardo, get looted up as fast as possible. We don't have to stay on just one side, and after this, we can decide where we want to go next. I mean, Power Triple A holding up towards Power Grid. They do have oversight on them in Picardo, but I'm sure Bigetron now, with freedom of options, will feel a lot more comfortable coming into the later stages of this game. RRQ towards El Pozzo, currently in 4th place here with 8.7 average per game, so not bad at all. I mean, you know, Lee was talking about it. They really want to pull their kill points up. They are a pretty damn good mechanicals team, but right now there's so much more emphasis on the placement points for them. Novrex QF, on the other hand, they have evened it out. They seem to be that team that's like placement points is less important for them, and it's like those kills have been coming through. But they're realizing that that might put them in the top 8, but it isn't setting them at the top of the leaderboard. They've switched it up a little bit. I want to see if they continue playing a bit more safe today, and then we can kind of make a clear judgment of whether that is a change they're actively making, that they're looking at more of those placement points than kills, because they've already proved that they are a killing machine, a bulldozer in the lobby.
Absolutely, they are not very easy to run over in a fight. We'll see if they can keep going, because obviously on that first game they had incredible circle shifts towards their compound over on Erangel. They just basically got center zone for free. They did move there, they did regroup there early, so they did make that good rotation at the start, but it's really, as you said, it's something that we're going to be looking for as time goes on, as the day goes on, if it's an adjustment that they've consciously made or if that was just a flash in the pan.
And I mean, it definitely could be, considering exactly like we had a discussion earlier. I was like, well, okay, it looks like they're making a change. And you so rightly said that, look, they did get a lot of circles here, so perhaps it's just look at the draw. And sure, they've held it down fantastically. We know they can do that, but can they set themselves to put themselves in a position like that when they don't get the circles? And that's what we really want to look at. Aerowolf Limax, team that's on your screen right now, seems to be going a little bit underneath the radar. Obviously, they're down in 9th, but I don't think there's been many times where I'm like, Aerowolf Limax made an incredibly bad mistake. It feels like they're just steadily cruising through, getting those average points on board. I don't think I've seen anything spectacular out of this team, but then again, I don't think I've seen anything like, this was terrible. I don't ever want to see that again.
And that's the thing as well. That's all you need to do. It's not like you need to be popping off, unless you want the chunk of the prize pool, which it has to be said is
pretty
very
chunky.
Significant.
Chunky, yeah.
But if you just want to qualify for the finals, that's exactly how you do it. You make no waves, make sure that nobody's really paying attention to you, no one's focusing on you. You can just cruise through in 8th place or something like that and just, just vibe, just chill. And maybe that's what they're looking to do. I'm pretty sure that most of these teams are going to want to win it. That's why they're here. They are the best of their regions. They are looking to be the best in the world as well. So I doubt that that's really sort of at the forefront of their minds. But as time goes on, if you're still stuck down in those places, it's not that likely that you're going to be able to catch up towards the top. So maybe that's what you're going to be looking to do.
If there's any team here, though, John, that you think that could make the run for it, who's towards the bottom of the table, which team are you looking at?
Well, actually, funnily enough, they are on the screen right now. Futbolist. Yeah. We've seen them pop off before, even in the first 2 days here in league stages. They had phenomenal performances, obviously qualifying in first place for the Super Weekend, but they just have dropped off so heavily here. Now, I'm wondering if they can adapt, if they can pick up their feet, because we've seen them do incredibly well. They won World League West, right? They are the first seed coming in from the Western region. And right now, we are not seeing that. We are not seeing that performance there. Hopefully, they're going to be able to step up. I imagine, they will be able to pull it together. We've seen them do it before. Are they going to be able to do it again? I think so. It's still early days, and the tables are very malleable.
Yeah, on the flip side, though, looking back to league play, they were doing pretty good work there. Exactly. They were fairly consistent. Consistency seems to have dropped away a little bit here, but, they'll get it back on board, I'm sure, sooner or later. And, a lot of people do say that, Soke is towards one of the best IGLs in the West, right? And I just want to see more clear indicators of that, that's all.
Team Secret as well. I did mention them right at the start. They were the team that won the last Miramar yesterday. Hopefully looking to get a couple more points on. We were admiring their play style in that game as well, if you remember, Blank, with the 2-2 split on the compound and the ridgeline.
Exactly.
Challenging off against 4 angry men, controlling that ridgeline as well. So that was a really, really well-played, well-thought-out strategy. Hopefully we're going to see that again. But right now they're sat down in 12th place on the tables. Is that 44 points total over these games, over these 7 games? That's a little bit less than they'd like.
And we were also admiring their memeing capability on Twitter. But really, all I want to see is, them bringing their gameplay style to the same caliber of the social media content. I mean, Yuhai, he is a player that a lot of us look towards and this guy is one of the young rising talent within the PUBG Mobile scene. I'm sure we will see tons of him more in the future, and I can't wait to see so. But, Team Secret, they have had a steady improvement throughout the entirety of the PUBG Mobile era right now. Coming from Global Championships to now, there has been a steady increase of how many times they made it to international tournaments. And you know what? The more times they are in these international waters, the easier the sailing will get. I really like that from them. And you can tell there's a lot of work going in behind the scenes, despite even their IGL being split up from the rest of the team right now.
Blue Bees taking a little bit of a fight with Konina Power. And it's like the final circle last time around. Konina Power not quite able to step forward. Black-White very low, does get the heal. Maybe looking for a little bit of retribution, but with Robdini down and Gonzo already dead, they are down a player, and Blue Bees have the advantage moving forwards with all 4 players left alive. Lufa with just a little bit less HP. Neither of these teams need to move currently. They are in the next circle and actually relatively spread out from the rest of the lobby. But what's this? Secret Jin coming in from the back might just catch out Reiji if he's not careful. Will have scouted it though.
I mean, Team Secret Jin currently on the other side of the mountain. Good shots coming through from Lufa. Will take down Black-White. I think that's Robdini down on the floor too. Becomes very difficult for Axa to even attempt to go back there. But this is what I love from this team, though, is that Blue Bees, it feels like once they get a little bit of momentum on board, they start to do really well. And we saw similar things from World League East from Lufa himself when he was playing on Reject Scarlet. As soon as Lufa started to get those kills on board, he's starting to pop off a bit more. So yes, Blue Bees right now a little bit streaky, But honestly, I feel if when they get in that stride, they can start getting those points on board. And I just want to see them finish in a top 8.
A little bit of a stumble there on the entry to the crates from Bigetron, and Ryzen moves forwards with the duo, but without the backup from the rest of their team, they had to change it up just a little bit. You can see they're on the northern edges of Los Leones right now. There's a huge clump of teams on this northern side, near La Badita, in between there and Los Leones, that have started to sort of filter down and towards the city. And Bigetron seems to have made that move first, but Aerowolf Limax, they're holding out pretty strong. The smokes have bloomed, and they'll be able to get the res.
I mean, most teams here, they're looking to find a position on the outskirts of Los Leones. You don't want to enter too early, even though what we can see from this circle is very much telling that we might have a city finish here. You don't want to go in there too early and find yourself right on the top of the 3rd floor of one of these buildings. Like, actually, you have to come down, which is not a position you want to put yourself in because it becomes very, very easy to see there. Man's wearing flippers right now. I'm not sure what's going on there.
That is, yeah, he's got his clown shoes on. He's
yeah.
got his, you know, he's going to go and get the honky nose.
Big feet, big plays.
It's the sound of a honking nose.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear. Alpha 7 on the western edge. They've sent Law forwards, and now this is an adaptation that Alpha 7 made yesterday. They sent Law forwards so many times to be this actually quite far-flung scout. It's played out pretty well for them. They've managed to get a lot of decent positions, and it's come through on the tables as well. Currently sat in 6th, 57 total points, 29 kills. We saw them in that tiebreaker with Konina Power and with Bigetron at the moment.
Yeah.
They're stepping up with some of the best of them, and I think that that is partly due to this change in playstyle that we've seen from them.
It's an interesting one where Law is essentially like this divining rod as they head into these circles. They just send him out forward. He looks for water, or in this case, a nice place to stay in terms of a compound, and then they kind of come up behind him. And it actually takes a lot of skill as a scout like that to move forward so confidently into position.
I think we might be seeing an urban finish, Blank. The next circle pops, and it's towards Los Leones, entirely covering that southern edge. And
yeah.
The cliffs up to the north really dominated at the moment by Aerowolf Limax, but there's so many people waiting in the wings to try and push into that spot.
Yeah, Nova XQF as well here, trying to hold this ridgeline on the northeast side, preventing teams like Digital Athletics as well as Execute from making their way into this circle. You can see Power 888 here versus Abrupt Slayers. They do have the low ground for the time being, so this is going to be a tough push for them.
Got to be careful of the badges in the road in this compound. They are prone to trip you up. If you watch World League East, you'll know what I'm talking about there. Shout out to Klas for bringing that one, and Froz as well for illustrating that beautiful sighting of the animals, of the wildlife here in Miramar. But Power 888 at the moment have a little bit of a different sort of wildlife to worry about as the Abrupt Slayers are up the hill.
And wow, look at the cluster of teams here. 16 still in this game, all found areas that they can hold on to. And RRQ has made a really wide rotation from El Pozo on the western side of the map, now pushing through the foothills of Chumacera underneath to where Team Secret Jin inserted themselves on the south side earlier. So RRQ will be playing edge this game. It's going to be a little bit difficult for them, but we want to see more from them, but they're still playing this really passive game. Alpha 7, they've decided to take the top floor straight away.
Now this is how you scout Los Leones. You send all the way up to the top of the construction. The issue is, I'll get back to that in a second, Futbolist running up the top of a building as well. Themselves managed to pick up a kill, and that's Aerowolf Limax, who, remember, were dominating the cliff face. That's going to weaken their position and potentially allow a lot more teams to challenge for those spots.
Solke down though. They weren't able to pick him up in time. That's their IGL out. But as we know, if we go back to Gatak from TSM Entity, when that guy went down when he was playing on Entity, they said that actually the team played way better because he was able to play Puppet Master from the grave.
You can see everything. He lays out the battlefield before him and calls it as it is. But I was talking about how Law is up the top there. It's a great position for information, but if you're taking a fight, you're basically dead because there's so many teams around you. As soon as you shoot, as soon as your presence is known there, you're going to go down because there's no way you can get out of there. And your teammates can't really come to back you up. You need to drop so many smokes if you want to get out. It's better to get that information and then move down before you take that fight for some hard cover.
I would actually disagree there, to be honest with you. Just because having that high ground, it's very hard to shoot up at that position. you can actually get a lot done from there. And with so many teams, specifically in this situation, John, being surrounding it, it's very hard to take a fight directly onto Alpha 7, who are so central right now, without being third-partied. Alpha 7 really aren't in too much trouble of that happening because they are so far up, out of reach of these nades.
So they've actually changed it up and put 2 people up there now. VG2K has joined Law. This actually solidifies the position. So what I was talking about, the danger of getting knocked and being left alone, is taken away just that little bit. The circle shifts. We are going to see an urban finish, which is one of the very few times you'll see that on Miramar, so it should be quite exciting. But the fact that there's 2 of them up there means that if one of them gets knocked, they can just drop a smoke and get that res.
Instantly, you can see the 2 other players who across the row for Alpha 7 start to coalesce with the rest of the team, group up, knit that jumper back together, and you absolutely need that to happen because, you know, if you want to stay cozy within the circle, you can't be split up on either side of the road because there's no way you can get across to one another in that situation if one gets knocked. This is a much stronger position for them now. Now they're all together in one position, able to hold each other's backs.
RRQ finally leaving the blue zone. They were playing on the southwest for quite a while, and now they've managed to find a spot on the south side, near the Blue Bees and actually near Secret Gin as well. You can see that on the minimap in the top right. Those 3 teams sort of standing off here. But all of them are in the circle, however, and given that it's an urban ending, these teams can get so much closer to each other. This split from Aerowolf Limax, they didn't regroup in time, Blank, if I'm honest, and you can see just how it's going for them. They're really trapped at the moment.
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good, good. You know who else is not fine? It's Aerowolf Limax. They are really struggling, just like you said. I mean, they want to get into this circle, but so far they've got a couple of players behind. Ronaldo is still trying to make his way over this cliff side. Nova SUF, on the other hand, might make an interesting rotation here. Head all the way to the western side, make something similar to what RRQ did, but a lot later in this game. They're going to pick up a quick loot crate, but look at this, RRQ.
This eastern side is soon becoming a death field right now. Blue Bees challenging RRQ on the top of the cliffs at the moment, but Secret Gin, as I said before, they're close by as well. This is the danger in an urban ending, is when you take a directional fight, you expose yourself to all these other buildings.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, Team Secret Gin, they've been ghosting your boys this entire game. Blue Bee's been trying to get away from them, but now the haunting begins. When they're trying to take this fight with RRQ, it gets very tough. You can see though on your, if you can take a look at your map in the top right here, loops are actually so split up again. I love loops. I love you guys are trying to take as much area as possible, but you cannot control this. You just cannot do it.
When there are 3 teams in the middle of your split, I don't think it counts as controlling the ground. Maybe they're just trying to look to snake it here because it is such a dangerous round. We're in Circle 4 and there have been no teams dead, Blank, at this stage. We've had a total of 6 players fully die. I think there was just another knock there onto Coolboy from Nova. XQF, you can see they are currently on the northwestern edge, not yet in this next circle, but that's what I was saying. An urban ending allows everybody to just come so close together, and it's so difficult to try and sneak your way through.
This is really smart though from Nova XQF, because if they came in the circle from the north side and crossed the road there, it'd be so difficult. They want to try and cross the road outside of the blue. That would make most sense to them, and then they can try and play themselves in. But Digital Athletics, they have their number, and they're pushing out of the zone to take them down.
The walls start to ring with gunfire, Blank. It's all going to pop off here. I imagine on this next shift it will be do or die for so many of these squads. 1 player left standing for Power 888 right now. Corpai trying to get towards ISIS, dropping those smokes, but there's so many teams waiting to bear down. Alpha 7 waiting in the wings. You've got Futbolist on the northern side of the road. As you said, they haven't crossed yet, so they're not keeping that pressure up. They've given up 2 of those players for Power 888, but they look to be able to get 2 back and standing. The question is, how much further can they go? In an urban finish, it's actually not too bad. What a shift to the eastern side.
Massive shift to the east, but more than that, Digital Athletics went out to try and gatekeep Nova XUF, but they have managed to take down 2 players from Digital Athletics, but now only Order and Paraboy remains. But for how long? Suk here, though, taking shots onto Aerowolf Limax. 4AM have the central position in the circle right now, and Alpha 7, they have to come down from their tower, and it will be a long, long way to fall.
I'll drop down those stairs as soon as they can. Get back down to safety. We'll see if they're able to make it. One of the players on the loop split does get spotted out and should be taken down here. Secret Gin taking the fight with one of the players from Abrupt Slayers there, who does take the knee and take the L as well. I'll have to wait and see. The nades coming in through for Joker, cooking it up, looking to try and lob it in through the door. Is it going to land? Actually, not quite rightly placed there, but has to fade away. They have to move, regrouping now on the cards.
Again, though, let's look quickly back to where RRQ is on the southeast side. They've just been probing, gently pushing at the side of the circle, seeing where they can get in, where the resistance is thinnest, and now they can start to make their way up to this hillside on the eastern side of the map. They will have to get rid of Execute, who are currently the team in their way, but right now I've been really happy with the way RRQ have been playing.
Urban Warfare still blank. 16 teams, 20 minutes into the game. 49 players now remain as teams are starting to thin out. Klas Digital Athletics, you've got on 2, you've got Konina Power down to 1, Nova XQF even on 2, and players just keep on falling. Futbolist now taking casualties as they lose Lovazin. They're on 2 as well.
It was a stressful position to try and move in. And to be fair, look, Nova XQF have actually had a better time of it. Futbolists still are crunched by so many teams, but now Nova XQF can try and make their way in from that western side with the 2 players they still have up. They will have to worry about Abrupt Slayers and Alpha 7, but to be honest with you, Alpha 7 was probably more preoccupied from getting down from this big ladder that they put themselves on.
Looks like they have managed to, well, they should have managed to do it by now. The question is, actually, they have left both of those 2 players there. I'm wondering if they are still atop the tower. I think they might be. You can see they're not on the screen just there. Order 6 takes a knock and actually will get flushed, which means Nova XQF, just Paraboy remains on the western side and has to move through Alpha 7, the 2 players who are on the ground floor at the moment. Power 888 have their 2 representatives underneath the 2 players from Alpha 7 who will start to make their descent now.
47 alive, 16 teams remaining. No one wants to take that L on the 0 points going away from 16th place. This is pretty tough. Loops have actually been able to come back together again on that eastern side and have relative control over here. It's still 4 AM with a decent position forward.
Oh,
and
no.
Alpha 7, they need to make this happen.
Oh,
He's going to drop.
He's just going to go down there. There's no way you make that. They needed to go down earlier, Blank. You're right. We just haven't really seen anything other than that. That was a bit bad play, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think it's fair enough. They just left 2 players as free kills, but the other 2 players are still alive, do still have a shout into this next circle as 2 teams now have been eliminated. It's the Abrupt Slayers and Power 888 who have gone down.
Blue Bees taking a fight versus Team Secret right now on the south side. It seems to be really popping off down there. Team Secret have been playing so quiet. They do not want this to go to waste, but now it's just Rex remaining. Not Rex, sorry. It's Ice Shots. This guy has played before, though, versus Blue Bees as the solo. Can he make it happen again?
And the calm in the storm. RRQ on the southeastern side. All 4 players alive. You said they're going to have to deal with Execute, but the fight hasn't popped off there. So the northwestern edge really starting to feel those bullets fly at the moment. You can see Bigetron, Futbolist with their remaining players. Both stood very, very close to each other. They'll have to move further. They'll have to move further south as Klas Digital Athletics waiting in the wings there. 4 angry men in their way too.
Saito-chan finishing up Mad Toy. Now just Ice Shots remaining for Team Secret. Bigetron and Futbolist in close vicinity, but both have to move from here. Such a huge cluster on the northern side, it's going to get hairy.
Microboy doesn't quite finish the spray over onto Lutz, drops a nade, and Bigetron will have to move as well. They have to evacuate their position as the healing starts for Raum. Lutz as well, looking to try and keep it going, but oh, he's out of meds. He is just going to try and drop a nade, and Lutz falls. I don't think Futbolists are going to be able to get much further. Bigetron now swinging out wide into the open yard. Ryzen gets clocked by the play zone, and Microboy now last standing.
Such a huge amount of action to begin very shortly. 4 AM moving out the vehicles during the chaos here to try and make their way in, but here's Execute going versus RRQ. We said they had to take them out in the way, but Execute's holding on strong. Such an important game for them as well, currently in 16th place, John.
G9 gets flushed out, but you've got Loops on the top side as well, who Execute have to worry about. This could be a 3-way fight here, Blank, and with so many teams waiting in the wings, it might be a 4, 5, 6-way fight as well. Futbolist eliminated there, 4 angry men claiming the final kill on that one. Execute still holding around these corners, but Loops go in. Carrillo to charge, but Kioski goes down first. The drop shot from Carrillo does not quite land, but he trades it. Fame Boys goes. Sute now waiting in the wings. Gets the knock onto Carrillo. Loops around the side. Federal last standing for the team. 2 players for Execute holding it down, and it's Fate falls as well. Kill switch,
my
the third
lord!
to fall. Federal now in a 1 versus 1 versus Sute, and Federal holds the corner. Sute pushing in close. Federal out wide. Looks for the heal as well through the smoke. Tries to hold it. Might just be able to pop it off as he is going to be able to execute that first aid. Molotov slows him down in the meantime, but Sute has the angle. The burn is in, and it's 4 Angry Men to play spoiler. Loops get eliminated, but it's no luck for Execute here as they're now down to 2. RRQ with 3 on the south edge.
Oh my lord, 4AM rain fire from afar. And now they're in a great position. Again, Chaos. They just are thriving in it right now. Here's Alpha 7, though, still in the game somehow with the 2 players taking shots onto Konina Power, who are now out. They only had that single player remaining with their skirmish with Bluebees at the beginning of the game. But look at this, Bluebees. Somehow we're still with 4 players alive, despite taking a lot of fights on that side. Now they have to finish the job with RRQ, John.
2 teams with 4 players alive. It is Bluebees and 4 Angry Men right now. 3 players alive on Secret Jin. And they're going to have to try and push on through from the west. 4 Angry Men closest to the circle. Bluebees on the split on the south edge. Need to challenge RRQ.
Divine taking shots from the side, though it's 4AM. 4AM are relentless this game. They refuse to let anyone get into the circle happily.
Will be tricky. Oh, a nade onto Reiji's position. Gives him a little bit of a fright there, but we'll be okay for now. Secret Jin challenging out Aita-chan. JGZ goes down.
What is this?
Maybe able to hold it. Another one falls, and it's Secret Jin going very low. Last player standing now. It's 2K, but what more can they get done? Reiji again getting bombarded by D2E.
I think we need a little bit of anger management up in here for one of these teams, because 4AM, god damn, this is ridiculous. They're taking fights with pretty much every single team, but Alpha 7, they are still going. We expected so little from them after they lost those 2 players, but they are making a stand here on the western side. 4 Angry Men, still all 4 players alive. You can see their position. They're all looking nice and healthy. They've spotted one of the Alpha 7 players, and that will be just Swagwin left. 11 kills total for this team so far. Swagin trying to take out that player from Bluebees. I believe that might be the last one alive. He's out in the blue. We'll just try and heal it up, but it's going to be so difficult to make the run through the smoke, but he makes it happen. Elusive.
Execute now have regrouped to their duo. Bluebees looking to try and get one of their players up, but it's looking less and less likely by the second. RRQ guarding them out. That's Alpha 7 eliminated. 4 teams remain, and it's 4 Angry Men with all of their players left alive. RRQ with 3.
Now, make that 2. Execute still in this game with Fame Boys and Zute with that close quarter skirmish with Federal just himself. But now 4AM trying to make the way. A nice pre-fire comes through from Zute. Pushes 4AM back. Immediately they'll have to put it on hold for the time being. Take a quick pause. But RRQ could potentially take advantage of this moment. Bluebees currently trying to bring up players in the rear.
They'll be able to get the scout as well from Fame Boys. He'll know that the angle's being aggressed on. Zute might be able to swing out and get a nice angle on his lineup. Coming through RRQ as well. They're waiting in the wings. They have all 3 players alive. They'll be able to get the res. A lovely spray comes through. Bazute gets taken down. Fame Boys now last standing on the position. 3 teams remain, and it's him to go large, but not quite large enough. Gets 1 knock, and it's down to 3 for 4 Angry Men. They'll get the res, and it's pitched warfare. 2 teams remain.
That was so important for 4AM. They were in a struggle position there, where behind that wall, there was only one position where they could have come out from. They used smokes perfectly in the situation to prevent Zute from making any excellent pre-fires onto the only spot there where he could have come out on. But now look at RRQ. They are set up like a firing squad here on this south side. 4AM is going to be lucky to get out of this one.
BR11 with a huge off angle as well. They have to push. It's 4 Angry Men with the initiative over to them. Super gets knocked early. Ernie finds the shot he's looking for. The spray in return not quite landing. Looks like they're low on meds though. Might not be able to sustain this fight for too long. However, 4 Angry Men, they've got 14 kills and they are not slowing down.
D2E just looking outwards. BR11 really biding his time here. There will a res come through for 4AM. They just want to keep 4 of those players alive.
It's the race between the hare and the tortoise right now. You've got 14 kills, 4 Angry Men going absolutely huge. RRQ, they've been slow, they've been steady, but my God, are they looking to take it here. 2 players now standing for 4 Angry Men. Beer goes aggressive. Husky going wide, but gets spotted on the off angle. The res is trying to come through from Shinhei, but in comes the knock, and BR11 leads the charge. RRQ looking to try and take him down. He goes low. The teammates at his back, and RRQ take it home.
He said tortoise, John, and RRQ was solid in